Rob, again, that is your neck of the woods. So how is it being perceived in Ohio?
Well, we're thrilled to have the show here in Columbus. We think it's a great venue here. I recall, when I worked at the MIC years ago, the show used to be in Cincinnati before it moved to Indianapolis. So it's great to have it back here in Ohio, close to the headquarters. Gives us the opportunity to open our doors and have a bike night and really roll out the welcome mat to the industry that's here. And the AIM show is a really good example, I think, of where the AMA and the industry have been working together well for years without people really realizing it. Larry Little's a good friend. I've known him since my days at the MIC, frankly, and he and I actually took a media training together that Alan Isley had asked staff and board members to be a part of, and that's how I met Larry. But when Larry started the show, we talked about how the AMA could be involved, and we brought a lot of our activity to the show in Orlando. I believe the second year was, we were there early on, and when the show came to Columbus, it was great synergy, and the AIMExpo has always been very welcoming of the AMA, and we've tried to work together and help each other. And before the date change, Cinnamon gave me a call and said, "Hey, I just want to let you know about this before it's announced publicly." And just that kind of synergy has been really helpful. And a lot of that is, certainly we had that relationship with the AIMExpo staff, leading into, Erik's tenure. But Erik's tenure, I think, has really helped kind of kickstart that partnership and the cooperative working relationship for sure.
Yeah, Robin, coincidentally, Larry's the one who drove me out for the meeting with Rob last fall. So it was the three of us. Larry and Rob go way back, and my view was, well, if I go with Larry, there'll be instant credibility, I think, that this isn't like, gamesmanship or anything else. We really need it.
And you weren't left sitting in the lobby for 3 hours.
No, in fact, Rob gave us a tour of the museum. It was awesome.
Yeah. And I don't know, I don't hold your affiliation with Larry against you at all, Erik.
It does seem pretty incredible, though, Erik, that it's only been 6 months. So much has happened on your watch, and you've discovered so much since you've been there. We'll get into that later, but what a whirlwind.
It has been. The most interesting part to me has been seeing who steps up. In these situations, you see the people who rise to the occasion and the people who shrink. And our staff, the staff has done, generally speaking, and across the board, a good job. But we have some staff members who have gone well above and beyond anything that could be reasonably expected. So that's pretty exciting to see. There's an appetite, too, to do more. It's not like they're kicking and screaming. They want to do more things, see great opportunities, do additional things, not just with the AMA, but with the industry across the board. Our board, both boards, MIC and MSF, very supportive, very ambitious, very, in the spirit of push it as far as you can. Let's see how far we can go. Let's make exciting things happen. We have a lot of folks right now out there who are struggling, especially at a retail level. But it goes across the board, right? The entire industry is feeling financial effects of all this. And, part of that, it's been gratifying to see so many people in different states, different companies, different organizations step up and do really helpful things. You see donations happening. You see companies preparing or producing the protective equipment. You see people raising money. You see people trying to figure out ways to help others out. I think there's a grittiness to folks who are interested in what we do and this entire sport, this activity, this just sort of way of life that I think brings out that sort of innate toughness really manifests itself, and it's brought out in these kinds of situations. And it's just exciting to see. It's really, it makes getting up in the morning and fighting through another day or another week that much easier.
Absolutely. And I've got to say, being a recent board member, I thought that I knew what was going on, within the organization, and I've been on the aftermarket committee for almost 30 years now, but I had no idea. And people really have stepped up. And guys like Scott Schlegel and his team in Washington, D.C., I mean, that's unprecedented, but they really have gone above and beyond the call.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that Erik and I talked about in our first conversation was the need for our government relations staffs to work closely together. And Scott has been great in working with our Director of Government Relations, Mike Sayre, and Mike is new to that position as well. Mike has been in our office as a manager, but just recently took over as a director of the department. And working with Scott has been really, I think, beneficial to both organizations and certainly beneficial to the motorcycling community.
Can we get a joint statement from Scott and Mike together to talk about some of the things that they've been able to achieve?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's probably lots of things. I think both of them are kind of focused on all these relief efforts probably at the moment. And after that, I think once we get back into some motorcycling issues, I keep talking to my guys here. It'd really be nice to go back to running a motorcycling organization instead of talking to congressmen and SBA people and bankers.
Yeah, there is an opportunity for sure for those folks. I know Scott speaks highly of the AMA GR office and really likes the work that's being done. We were going to our fly-in, as you know, Robin was going to be back in March, and AMA they were going to be part of that, and Rob was going to give some remarks, and then Mike was going to give some remarks as well. So I think it'll be easy to make something happen between those two in terms of a statement. And I think probably there's an opportunity to coordinate efforts with members on the Hill so that we leverage our time there for all the organizations the best we can.
Awesome. Is there a chance to consolidate some of the fly-in efforts with the new dates for the AIMExpo?
It's an interesting question because the short answer would be, I don't know you want to put everything at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And so, is there some value in staggering events? But there might be some other things we do that could be tied in with the fly-in or AIMExpo better so that we make the most of those events. So instead of having 4 events, maybe have 2 or something like that. But more to come on that.
Well, I would also say that this year in particular, in January, we're going to be dealing with an inauguration at that same time as AIMExpo. So it's Washington's going to be a little bit crazy, I think, at that time, and nobody's going to pay attention to our issues most likely in that context. So no matter who becomes president or is president.
That's a good point. And things have been so crazy lately, I totally forgot. Oh yeah, it's an election.
Oh yeah, it's election year.
I would just say thanks to Rob for being, open-minded about taking the initial meeting last fall, and then for a fruitful conversation since then. Like I said, it's easy to get along with Rob, and we really haven't had any real issues, and I don't anticipate any. So I just thank you for taking the time and committing to the monthly calls, and looking ahead at opportunities where we can work together, and to the extent our joint efforts help inspire the industry to collectively do positive things, I mean, that sounds great to me.